a horrible day, May 11th, 2025. Someone I have known since the days his uncle, the original Sheik Ed Farhat, was training him. Shocking call today from one of my dear friends, Herb Simmons from SICW, said, I heard that Sabu died. And I said, no, it's impossible. I just saw him a week ago. He said, no, can you call somebody and confirm it? And the first person that I thought of was this guy, Fonzie, Bill Alfonso. What a rotten day today.
Well, RVD called me about 2 hours ago and said we lost Sabu. It was devastating to hear that. And I just was in Las Vegas WrestleMania weekend, Bill. We were there at the WrestleCon for 3 days. Sabu was looking great, and we just had his last match. Can you believe it?
You did, and I asked him about it,
GCW.
and he said, well, it might not be the last one.
Right, because so we did his last match, the barbed wire match for GCW with those guys, and thank you so much for letting us do that and letting me be a part of it. And then Sabu was at last Saturday at the ECW Arena with you and Todd and all the boys, Sandman and so on. And he called me the day after he saw you on the Sundays. Hey, I'm having cheesesteak. I'm in Philly. Thanks, Fonzie, for doing
Oregon Diner. Oregon Diner. That
yes,
was his favorite
exactly.
place.
You know, Bill, Apter.
Yeah.
You've been around. I used to watch you on black and white TV when I was a kid. And so anyway, Sabu, speaking of Sabu's last match, he said, Fonzie, it went so well in GCW in the barbed wire match. He said, I want to have another one, another last match, maybe in Tokyo, where he was a big star in Tokyo. They loved him. And he said he just sent me this. He sent me one of his action figures.
Hold that up to the camera, if you would mind, like real close. Yeah. Wow. Unbelievable. And he, people remember Genie, and some people say he was never the same without Genie.
You're right about that. It really was devastating. He found the girl of his life, of his dreams, and they clicked so well. They were so in love, and then we lost her. He was devastated after that.
Yeah,
Totally devastated. And I don't know if he ever recovered from that, Bill.
So we don't know what he died from right now. The whole thing is that he's no longer with us. Look at that wonderful photo. You talked to RVD earlier today, I understand.
He called me.
Tell me about that conversation.
He called me 2 hours ago before it hit social media and said, Fonzie, we lost Sabu. I wanted to call you and let you know personally. And my niece Googled right away, and it wasn't on social media, but now it's all over. My phone's been blown up from people and promoters and people that we met and knew Sabu and I from all over the world. Literally, I've got a call from Japan already. Promoters all over the country. Herb, we're doing the big thing for the Bruiser Brody thing next week in St. Louis, which you're going to be there, and we're going to do a 10-bell salute for.
We will, and I'll be honored to be part of that. He never lost his enthusiasm. How were you two first put together, you and he?
Well, Paul Heyman put us together because when May in 1995. Paul Heyman called me and says, Fonzie, I got this company called ECW. I said, what the fuck's an ECW? Because I've only worked for the major companies. I worked for Florida Championship Wrestling with Gordon Soley, Eddie Graham, and Dusty. Then I went to WCW with Ted Turner. Then I went to WWF, WrestleMania 9, so on. And then Paul Heyman had this ECW thing and wanted to bring me in. And he put me with Taz for a few minutes, and then Taz didn't need me because he could do promos, and he thought it was a perfect fit for me and Sabu to be together. And when I told Sabu that one of my first matches I got paid for was in 1978 in Amarillo, Texas. It was the Sheik, Eddie Farhat, Sabu's uncle.
Yes.
In a chain match with Terry Funk, and I refereed the match, and the Sheik stabbed me with a pencil, and I still got the lead mark in my arm right here, if you can see it.
Yep.
And he loved that story. We clicked immediately once I told him that, and we've been best friends, and I've talked to him almost once a week for the last 5 years.
What was the
I mean, since May '95, we've been talking since May '95, and it's never stopped. He
what
just
was the
called me last Sunday and told me he had a successful thing in Philadelphia with you, and was really happy and thanked me for being a part of the GCW match in Las Vegas. And it was literally Bill Apter. This is fucking crazy. It was literally his last match.
Yeah, I know. I know. I know.
And I'm grateful to her
When
for
you
that.
think of him, when you close your eyes and you think of your friend Sabu, what comes to mind personally?
How generous he was to me and to everybody. He was really cool. He wasn't quiet, but he was quiet, if that makes any sense.
It does.
He wasn't flamboyant. He wasn't a big talker like me. I'm a big talker and I'm a hyper and so on. And Sabu was kind of quiet, but not to his friends. When we traveled together, man, he would talk and tell stories and, about his life and his matches and his uncle, the famous Sheik 84 hat and so on. Uh, man, I'm going to miss this guy.
Did
I'm
you ever
real.
say to him, did you ever say to him, my God, what are you doing to your body? Because he was, when you talk about hardcore, he defined that word.
Oh, he certainly did, and he was having terrible problems with his body. I mean, the ECW beat him up. Well, he beat himself up. He wanted to
Yeah,
be Mr. Hardcore, and he was. He
it
was an
was.
innovator of violence that, you know, suicidal, homicidal, genocidal. That was all true. That
Yeah,
was all true.
yeah,
He gave to the wrestling fans and to the sports entertainment business everything he could possibly do. All those crazy bumps and cuts. Remember the famous barbed wire match between Terry Funk and Sabu at the
I was
ECW
there.
arena?
I was
I
there.
know, I know you were there, and of course I refereed. I was his manager that night, and he got uh, during that match, he ran into the barbed wire and it slices from his elbow all the way to his shoulder. It was about a half inch wide. He went into shock for a few seconds. Fonzie, oh, like that. And he said, Fonzie, go get me some tape. So if you watch that match, you can Google it and watch Terry Funk and
Yeah,
Sabu in the match. And I come back with tape, the white tape, and he's taping his arm up
yep.
in the ring, taking a reverse neck breaker onto a chair by Terry fucking still tape. It was the craziest moment I've ever. That was one of my coolest moments.
I
And
remember talking to
hardcore.
Terry. I remember
It
talking
was
to Terry, and
crazy. And speaking of Terry Funk, we just lost him too.
I know. So I remember Terry telling me after that match, he said, I thought I was off the wall. This guy's crazier than me. I remember that. I remember that.
Yeah, Sabu
Um,
gave it all. He gave his body, and he could barely walk sometimes, and he needed hip replacements and this and that, but never got it, unfortunately. But uh, so hey, we lost Sabu today, and God, I don't have any details about any services or anything. And I mean, Van Dam was too devastated when
of
he
course.
when I talked to him to talk about anything. So we might do maybe Cauliflower Alley might get involved in helping
Oh,
with.
I will love to be there. So um, before we leave, I'd like to ask you to do something special with me.
Okay, but Bill, I have to thank you so much for calling me, and thank you so much for being a big part of the sports
You and I
entertainment
have been family
business.
forever, forever.
I used
Here's what
to
I'd like.
I
Here's what I
took
want.
care of your dad every
You
Monday
did.
night in West Palm
You
Beach.
did.
God
You
bless.
did.
That was 45 years ago, William.
I know it.
Can you
Here's what I'd
believe
like to
that?
do. I'd like you to take your left hand, point up in the sky like Cebu, and what do you want to say to him?
God bless you, brother. Thank you for all the fantastic memories and for being the one and only Sabu. Thank you,
Yeah,
Sabu, for being a
it's
true friend.
amazing.
God
Bill
bless you. I
Apter,
love you with all my heart, Sabu.
Bill Apter with Bill Alfonso here on again a terrible day, May 11th, 2025. We have lost Cebu. Terrible.